And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. This is our MLR Week 14 Pick'ems video, as well as we'll look at the updated MLR SuperBru Rugby411 Pick'em pool leaderboard. Week 14, well, only 5 weeks left in the 2022 season. We are again reaching the last quarter of the season. It is amazing how quickly this season has gone by. We have some very exciting games this weekend. Let's get straight into it. Friday Night Footy has returned to MLR, and it is a big game. Friday, May 13th, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is the New England Free Jacks hosting Rugby ATL at the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy, New England. Match between the number 1 and number 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, but two teams that are quite at different points right now this season. New England Free Jacks are on a huge winning streak, while ATL have dropped their last two. Some rough losses to LA and to just recently Utah. The Utah game was on the road. Now they're going down to New England to face against the Free Jacks. A tough game. It's actually a rematch of week number 8 between the two teams, and in that week, New England pretty much trounced Atlanta on that, 41-27. I feel this is going to be the same way. ATL has oddly looked off in the last couple of weeks. Don't know what it is. New England, even though they struggled with Old Glory DC in their recent game, I still feel is the top class in the Eastern Conference, and they will hold on to that spot against Rugby ATL. Moving on to Saturday, we have some exciting games. Saturday, May 14th, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going back to Toronto at the the York Lions Memorial Stadium, where Toronto will host the Dallas Jackals. You know, once upon a time, I thought this game, the Dallas Jackals would win it. Toronto has dropped their last 2 games, but Dallas has not won a game yet. And unfortunately, it's seeming more and more like they are not going to. Toronto does play a little bit better at home, especially after the longest road trip of any professional team. I feel Toronto will capitalize on the opportunity to impress their home fans, and they will drop a lot of points onto Dallas. Moving on, another exciting game. Saturday, May 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Aviva Stadium, Houston SaberCats host the Utah Warriors. A very, very important game in the Western Conference playoff picture. Real interesting. Utah just broke a 6-game losing streak with a very impressive win over Rugby ATL. Granted, that was at home. Houston, though, has been looking very, very impressive themselves, winning their last couple games, especially a very big win over Western Conference rival San Diego Legion. You know, I'm on the fence on this one. Utah looked very, very dangerous, but first time in 6 games that they have, Houston has actually looked more impressive throughout the season. It's at home at Aviva Stadium. I think Houston pulls off the win on this one, keeps their playoff chances alive for the 2022 season. And now let's look at the remainder of the games for Week 14 of the MLR 2022 season. Last game for Saturday, May 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are back at the Gold Mine. NOLA Gold coming off of a bye, hosting Old Glory DC. This is another rematch from week number 8. In that game, Old Glory lost to NOLA, but it was a close game, 22-31. Again, both teams at very different points of their season now. NOLA, unfortunately, is on a 6-game losing streak, while Old Glory, though they lost their last game, a very close game against one of the best teams in the league, New England Free Jacks, they did win the 2 prior ones. I feel with this game, things are going to be different. I think Old Glory has found a new lease on life on the season, and I feel that they will have the win over NOLA, which actually will continue NOLA's losing streak at home at the NOLA Gold Mine. So I feel, again, Old Glory pulls off the win in this one. Then we finish the week, 2 games on Sunday. Sunday, May 15th, starts at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Rugby New York hosts the Seattle Seawolves, making the long trip over to the East Coast. Even though the Seawolves are your two-time MLR champions, doing pretty well. Rugby New York coming off of a very impressive win over the Toronto Arrows. I feel that west to east, east to west trip is never good, never comfortable. Seattle, I don't feel will have the energy to face against a very strong Rugby New York team, and Rugby New York will pull off the win. And the last game, primetime Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the San Diego Legion hosts the reigning and defending MLR champions, the LA Guillotines, at San Diego State University. LA on a 7-game win streak. San Diego, unfortunately, has only won 2 of their last 7 games. They are pretty much in a funk right now. The hosting and losing to the Houston SaberCats, I feel, well, that was a pretty big loss for them. It's surprising. They have such a talented team, but for whatever reason, it's just things are not clicking right now for San Diego. I feel that it continues. This is a rematch from week number 7, where LA beat San Diego at home 26-13. I feel it's probably going to be the same here. I mean, a lot of pressure is off of LA, but they still need to continue winning as much as possible. San Diego, again, struggling a lot. The win, though, for LA over teams like Atlanta, like Austin, I think will just boost the team even more. I feel they won't necessarily rest their best players, but at least they can have a little bit of reprieve of not so much pressure on them, but enough to take out the San Diego team. I think LA continues their winning ways and continue holding on to a playoff position, while I feel San Diego is kind of on the hot seat now for their playoffs. And speaking of hot seats and playoff positions, let's go into our SuperBru MLR Rugby411 leaderboard. And my God, this was an interesting week. Let's pop it up. And looky, Frisco Flame gets the golden cap. As I mentioned before, this was a very tough week for a lot of us. Frisco got the gold cap, but did not get every team right. That just shows you how tough this week was. But congratulations, Frisco. That is amazing. He is on a hot streak. 7.5 points this week. I'm pretty bad at this. Came in second at 7. All J Long popping back up at 6. Kacha at 5. And Brandon B-Dog 82, a name that I haven't seen in the top 5 for a while, 4.83. Looking back at the biggest rivalry in our pool, Footy Balls versus USA Rugby League and Union Fan. Footy Balls gets the win this one, but barely. 4 points to USA Rugby Union and League Fan, 3.5. I do have to say, don't be embarrassed, USA Rugby League and Union Fan, because you have some good company with you. Both Scary Larry and myself came in at the exact same points at 3.5, second to last in the league this week. Pretty embarrassing for all of us, but it is what it is. Let's look at the overall leaderboard. Bam. Even with my bad week, I still maintain the number 3 spot, but look at all J Long. 2 weeks of some impressive point scoring. His lead has now increased back to 9 points. To 11 points. 92.75 over Harry's 81.58. Going back to being almost that scary all J Long that we had at the beginning of the season. He has now expanded his lead. I'm in a close third at 80.33. Kacha at 78.5. But look at Frisco Flame. Number 4 jumped up 2 spots with that golden cap victory. 77.3. Jumps over Scary Larry, who's at 76.08. Again, guys, it's real impressive. I use Frisco Flame as a great example. Very first week, wooden spoon. Worst pick of week 1. And now look at him. 5th place. I mean, technically, if he wins a few more gold caps, he could win this whole thing. Starting from the bottom, making his way up to the top, it could happen. And that's what makes this pick'em pool so great, so much fun. Anybody can win. Theoretically, Footy Balls or Rugby League Union Fan could win. I mean, again, if you can get enough golden caps, there's still 5 weeks left, guys, in the season. A lot of things can happen. All J Long can continue his dominance, or Harry could catch up with him, or I can catch up with him. Somebody could catch up with him. But right now, all J Long has looked like he got back his mojo and is starting to increase that lead. 11 points is a big gap. We'll see what happens in this week. But again, there's some very interesting games in week number 14. Games that it could go either way. We'll see how it goes down. So as always, thank you very much for watching my Pick'em videos. Thank you very much for watching all of my videos here at Rugby411. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you on the pitch.